I was appointed the head basketball coach at the age of 26 in March of '67.
Insurmountable odds all the way. They were underdog at every ball game.
I knew that things had changed because integration in the state happened in 1965.
If there ever was a Cinderella team in athletics, I don't care what level, this has got to be it. They've been unbelievable.
So I went to Atlanta to the state AAA tournament in March, and Lee Martin, who played point guard at Georgia, went with me, and we saw Beach High of Savannah played Druid Hills, which was probably the best white team in the state. Had Ronnie Blumberg and Rudy Kennard, and well coached. And they went up against Beach in a full house at Georgia Tech, and they were completely annihilated. And after that game, the word or the feeling around the state that a white team would never be in the Final Four again.
Can you believe it? The Bulldogs have done it. The first time in 17 years that a Macon school has won the championship here in Atlanta.
Since camps were banned in Georgia, I looked around for a place to take y'all so you could see a working environment and what everybody else was doing to get better. And Bowie's Creek, North Carolina at Campbell College had sent a brochure, and they had about 600 or 700 kids, and somehow I begged them to take us, and they took us. And I begged them to let me come work and just put me on a cot. And we got on a Yellowhound bus with no air conditioning, I guess probably June 15th or 20th, and rode 12 hours and got there and threw you guys out and said, go play. And they put you with different groups from around the country, really. Pete Maravich was there as a freshman. He'd finished his first year at LSU and became a legend, and John Wooden was there, which I really wanted to meet because UCLA was starting their run for the national championships.
Charlie Anderson played one of the greatest ball games I've ever seen anybody play. He went to the line and he went to the line, and the pressure continued to build.
While there, I spent some time with Coach Wooden, and he was kind enough to get me his book, autograph the book, which motivated me tremendously, and sat down and showed me how to run the break and attack presses and rebound drills and little things that I hadn't seen, because back then we didn't have the internet, and if you wanted to get educated, you drove 8 hours to Greensboro or 6 hours to Stetson or went to Bowie's Creek, and you sat down and hoped somebody would talk to you.
Everybody's coming to their feet in Alexander Memorial Coliseum. I've been on mine since 5 minutes remaining in the game.
I started indoctrinating the parents that with their permission, I'd like to take you guys to Washington Park so you could play some of the black kids in the city of Macon, which had a great tradition of basketball. During that time, when Ballard Hudson and Peter G. Applin would play, I would take you down to the city auditorium and let you watch them play. And it was an interesting time because it was going to be different. But still, we felt like with the fundamentals of basketball and team concept and doing little things together, we could maybe build some kind of a program.
I am anxiously awaiting the most valuable player.
That's going to be something to really see.
Charlie Anderson has a good bet at it.
He certainly does.
He got 32 points tonight.
Well, the first year we kind of ambled through, and I learned as a head coach making decisions and started paying more attention to detail. And I think we went 14-14, and
32 for Charlie, 13 for David Lee, 12 for Frank Prince, 9 for Cam Bonifay, and 6 for Scott Judge.
As we came out of that, all of a sudden I've got 11 juniors and 2 seniors going into the state championship season. And I tried to schedule everybody I could from a competition standpoint. So with that in mind, we opened the Macon Coliseum in, I guess, November or December of '68, and played Peter G. Applin, who was state champs in the All-Black League. Had a great coach named Roy Robinson. He was a gentleman, and he was great on integrity and just a good person. So we opened at the Macon Coliseum and beat them 74-68. I think it seated about 9,000. We probably had 5 or 6 there. Great environment.
Coach Clifton, as you said, has his eye on one thing, and that's the big goal. Win or lose, he must have done the best coaching job in the state of Georgia this year.
Then we went to play Albany, who had really had a lot of success in the state tournament, my hometown, and beat them 60-59, I believe, and really had a good game. Came back home and played really what could have been the best team in the state in Ballard Hudson.
Mark Smith has come so far. They've been asked to come so far.
They had Bubba Linda, who played for the Celtics, and James Outlaw, who led the nation in scoring up at North Carolina A&T, and Lon Smith, whose brother Elmore Smith played for the Lakers, and 6'11". I mean, they were just loaded. But to make a long story short, we ended up the season 27-4. And as I went back and recounted, we only had 6 games in our gym. So we were undefeated at 6-0 in our gym. So most of the games were played on the road at Columbus and Albany and Warner Robins and downtown at the Auditorium and the Macon Coliseum. And it was an interesting time.
I'll tell you something, if they don't write about this one for years to come.
I thought I had you guys ready to play like I wanted to, which was a good team concept, playing good defense where we contested the shot, offense where we made at least 3 passes and got a good shot. The fact that we had to make free throws and take care of the ball and not have a lot of turnovers.
And in a ball game like this, every point is important. This is for it. There's no tomorrow.
Well, at 10-2, I felt good about it. People started taking notice. And we went to play our crosstown rival, which is Lanier High School at the Auditorium. And we really controlled the game. It was a full house, crowd wild, good sportsmanship, great environment. And with about 1:05 to go, we were up 7. And all of a sudden, we had that breakdown where we didn't take care of the ball, we didn't shoot free throws, we didn't block out on free throws. We missed free throws, and we got in a hurry. Coach Wooden always say, be quick, but don't hurry. And we hurried. And with about 5 seconds to go, we missed the front end of a 1-and-1, and they got the ball and banked it in from the timeline to beat us by 1. And I know that as we went into the auditorium and went downstairs, I was crushed, y'all were crushed, our fans were crushed. It was just a humiliating defeat, because all of a sudden you could hear them chanting, who is Mark Smith, and the River Rats and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it was a pride thing. And I never will forget, I didn't say much. I think I tore my tie up and simply said, I can't coach y'all.
Well, that's a painful memory. You know, it's probably, you get a little shell shocked when you think about it, because, and it definitely was pivotal for all of us. On paper, there's no way they should have beat us, ever. And but they did twice. And the second time, I think we were in disbelief. We couldn't believe that they had beaten us. Coach Clifton was extremely upset after that game, and I think it just it really sobered us and caused us to refocus. And it happened fairly late in the season, so that it was a good impetus going into tournament time, and a motivator that we certainly didn't have a very big head after that occurred.
The next day at school, I was still miffed, I guess you'd say, and not feeling good about the game. I tried, like Coach Wooden said, try and keep everything on a level keel. Don't get too high on wins and too low on losses. But that was a tough one to handle. And I think I went to practice and I said, no, we're going to do it my way or the highway. And you have potential, and I expect you to do what I need. And we're going to play Northside of Warner Robins Friday, and 2 or 3 of you will not start. And those that I put on the bench, I expect when you do go in the game to do it my way, our way.
Well, with Coach Clifton, he was a mentor. You know, we knew that he cared about us. We knew that he was there for us. He was emotionally connected with us. He was a great encourager, and I think that's probably one of the greatest gifts that a mentor of young people can have, is the ability to encourage them, and that encouragement then moves them towards greatness. And he had that. So, you know, it was a good relationship, and we knew that he cared about us, and sometimes he had to be hard with us, but in the end, we knew it was for our good.
And we went to Northside, and I'm sure a lot of the parents were a little concerned, a little upset that I was doing what I did. I was 27 at the time, I believe, when I'd gone to 27, a young whippersnapper. But I had played a lot of college ball and played a lot of AAU ball, and I had a good feel for the game and what I thought we needed to do. And we won the game by 11, and it really brought us together.
So you always had Butch always gave you a vision. You know, it was something to look to as far as the competition, what you had to do to improve yourself, what we had to do as a team to improve ourselves, what the competition was like. You know, he was a real good teacher in that fashion. That he always had us prepared. Now, whether you wanted to take it or not, it was up to you. Sometimes I had a problem taking it.
The Georgia High School Association decided that, and they'd done it prior to the start of the year, that we'd be like Indiana sectional ball. The first round of the state would be at different spots around the state instead of everybody going to one site, which had been for 40 years. So we drew another one of my hometown teams, Monroe of Albany, who was 24-1, I believe, and I had seen them play, and they were good.
Who would have thought it? I cannot believe it. Mike Smith came, they fought odds.
It's first round of the state now, where it's Friday night, and they cut it to 1, and then we made 6 out of 6 at the line and made another basket and held them scoreless and won by 9. So we turned a 1-point game into a 9-point win in the last minute and 30 or 40 seconds. I reflect back on the Lanier game that we lost earlier. I think we knew how to handle it, and we're going to handle it. So we come back home on Saturday and Sunday, and we start finding out who we're going to play. Well, lo and behold, we're going to Georgia Tech on Friday. Normally you go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we were going up on Friday, and we drew Beach of Savannah, who had won the state, runner-up in state, and were good. Had a kid named Gator Rivers that played at Kansas State and played for the Globetrotters for many years.
They had a bunch of big guys, all about 6'2", 6'3". And I thought, man, these are men right here, these little boys. And I mean, they were intimidating, not because of their height, because they're thick. But Gator, you know, I think the first time when we got on the court, first thing Gator said, he says, we went to shake hands, he said, "You Scott Judd?" I said, "Yep." He said, "We're going to get y'all." Okay.
They were really good, and that's where we picked up our rallying cry for the state tournament, because they called Russell Ellington, who was another class guy out of the Beach area, and he said, "Where's Mark Smith?" He didn't know. You know, he didn't know we would make it. And of course, everybody took it and ran with it, and that was, "Where's Mark Smith?" And every time we went on the floor, the rest of the time, you could hear everybody yelling, "Where's Mark Smith?"
So after the game, he said, "Good game, man." And that's all I heard from him until I saw him. I think I talked to you about seeing him years later as a Harlem Globetrotter. And I taken my 3 sons down to see him, and I met him backstage, and he was signing autographs for kids and all that kind of stuff. And finally his eyes hit me, and he looked at me and said, "Scott Judd, 1969, Mark Smith." And I said, "Gator Rivers, Beach High."
So now on Saturday, and all along, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution sports section had picked us to lose to Monroe, who was their region champs. It picked us to lose to Beach, who had won their region. And now on Saturday, we were going to play Price of Atlanta, who had won their region, and they were 22-1. And they had a kid named Perry Warbington, who played for the 76ers for many years in the pros, and a big front line, 6'7", 6'7", probably 6'6", bigger than we were.
No one who came to Atlanta to play in this tournament had a tougher road to go than did the Bulldogs. From the very beginning, when they had to play Monroe, a fine basketball team of Albany, in the opening round of the state tournament in Albany, they were victorious there 60-51. They came to Atlanta on Friday to play Beach, a team that the year before last was the state champions, last year runners-up, and many people felt that they may have had the better ball club between Johnson and Beach as far as an all-around ball club. So they came to play Beach High School, and they'd heard many things about them, how good they were, and what a job they had to do. And they came here and they did it. And then the next day, the Atlanta papers wrote that they had done a remarkable job, but they still had their work cut out for them, as they had to play another ball club that was maybe as good as Beach. They had lost only 1 ball game. They had gone through the regular season undefeated and lost in the finals of the tournament, and of course that was Price High School. Once again, the Bulldogs ignored all the pre-game publicity, set their mind to winning, and they defeated Price, and that of course on Saturday night, for the right to move to the night, to the finals of the state AAA championship.
Then we've got Sunday off, and we're going to play Carver of Columbus in the state finals because they won. So the two from our region are going to meet in the state finals. And I'd said all along, if we could get a day off and rest, we would be competitive. Well, my wishes came true. We got a day off. And because the Hawks had played at Georgia Tech on Thursday, it kicked the AAA tournament out so that nobody in the state of Georgia was playing on Monday. Georgia had played LSU with Pete Maravich on Saturday. Tech had played somebody on Saturday. The Hawks were off. Nothing was going on in the state of Georgia but this one game. And it was matching an all-white team against an all-black team. And everybody was sitting up taking notice. And shoot, we were happy to be there. We didn't know if we were going to win or not, but we certainly felt like with our system that we could be competitive.
But by no means does Mark Smith have good material. When you have three boys in the starting lineup in excess of 6'4", and 6'4", 6'4", and Charlie 6'5", and two little guards that play as well as Bonifay and Judd do together, then you have a fine basketball team.
I never will forget that we had a little pep rally at lunch in school and drove to Atlanta, and once we got through with the pep rally, I believe Charlie Hasty, who was pastor of the First Presbyterian Church, read us Isaiah 40, you'll run but not be weary, you'll rise up on the wings of eagles, something to that effect. And it was a very motivational type message, and it got our attention.
Who would have thought it? I cannot believe it. Mark Smith came, they fought odds. They fought odds all the way down. They won 52-49. Well, let's start back 61-50 to start it. Won 52-49, won 56-52. Insurmountable odds all the way. They were underdog at every ball game.
I think what we did is I went in and didn't have a lot to say because I'd pretty much said it all during the year. But I did say something to the effect, I'd like for you to close your eyes and reflect back on the journey. And I think my line at that point was, the journey is never complete until you take the last step. And with that, I just asked them to shut their eyes for a minute and think back to the Yellowhound bus 12-hour trip to Bowie's Creek, to all the trips we'd made, all the games we'd gone to together, and all the thought processes and all the success and failure we'd had, and let's go take the last step.
We're ready for the tip-off, and here for play-by-play is Bobby Pope.
It was a very emotional night. I didn't realize how loud it was, but they kept saying the standing room only is 4 deep around the top of the Coliseum. And it was loud. It was a great environment. And we came out, and basket for basket, basket for basket.
Ralph has the ball stolen by Prince. Quickly to Scott Judd, who brings it down. Scotty sets it up on offense, feeds to Bonifay, and a bunny, good. 10-10.
Made a little run on them, got them down 6.
Charlie from 10 feet, beauty! 22-17, Charlie Anderson with 4 points. 5:22 to go, and Smith is working the offense to perfection now.
They cut it to 4, got them down 8.
And here comes Fester. Leonard, the 7-footer. Into Charlie Anderson, the 3-pointer can be an effect. The foul's called on Fester. Charlie's shot is good. It goes to 26-19. He'll get the one shot. A chance for a 3-point play. Charlie Anderson with 6 points. And what balance thus far from Mark Smith.
They cut it to 6, got them down 10.
Smith would like to go out at halftime with as big a margin as possible. Who knows? Here, Scott Judd's second shot. It is up. It is good. 29-19. And that is the situation at 10 points with 2:53 to go.
And we're feeling pretty good, but all of a sudden we got in foul trouble. We had 3 starters pick up 3 fouls.
Mark Smith having a little foul trouble here early.
But we went out by 4 or 5 or 6 at halftime.
Now David Lee from 15 feet. Good! 7 seconds, 33-26. Smith with a 7-point edge. 11 points for Lee. 1 second, that's the end of the first half. The shot is up. It is good. It is good. He shot it before the clock ran out. 33-28. McFarley, or Whitaker rather, hitting on that one. Their score, Mark Smith 33, Carver 28. We'll be back right after this word.
Came out the second half and battled real well. And I think we talked that the fourth quarter, the lead changed hands 18 times. So from that standpoint, it had to be just a fantastic fan game.
Whitaker's turnaround layups up and in, all by himself. 48-47 by 1 is Carver. 6:10 remaining in the game. 49-48 by 1, the Bulldogs. 50-49, Carver leads by 1. Bonifay out front, going to Prince. Prince from 10 feet. It's good. 51-50, Mark Smith by 1.
Well, Scott Judd, who was our point guard and was a creative player and could play like anybody, fouls out with 5 minutes and 45 seconds on a questionable call. But it didn't matter. He was out.
They call a foul on Scott Judd, or either he's hurt. It's both. Scotty hurt his ankle trying to break up the play, and he is out of the ball game. And that certainly does not help Mark Smith's chances.
We then battled. Different players stepped up. David Lee.
2 minutes left in the ball game. It's tied. Here's a shot by David Lee from 10 feet. It's good. Clutch shot by Lee. 59-57. 1:53 remaining in this game. Mark Smith by 2.
Frank Prince. Of course, Charlie Anderson was having the game of his life.
Shot is up. It's good. What pressure, Charlie, for a junior. He is exhibiting the most cool, if you want to call it. I don't care what you want to call it, but he's got it.
They were really big. With 7-foot Fessor Leonard, 6'9", 6'7" Reuben Whitaker, strong guard.
59-59, a minute and a half. Are we going to have an overtime, or is it going to be decided in regulation? Here's the toss in. They're working it around. Whitaker outside. 26 seconds. 18 seconds. Willis. Rouse to Whitaker on the right side. 10 seconds, and I mean everybody's up now. Rouse to Whitaker. Here it comes. It's up. It is no good. Rebound is by Bonifay. Bonifay down court. 1 second. He gets the shot off. It's no good, and we'll have an overtime.
59-59, 3 minutes exactly to go in this ball game, as we have overtime. And you could not ask for a finer ball game.
Here we go. The jump in the overtime. Here's the tip, and it's controlled by Carver. Carver with the momentum. They work it around well. Whitaker from 15 feet. It's good. 63-62. Carver by 1. A minute 35 remaining in this ball game. Comes to Prince. Prince from 15 feet. Boom! 64-63. Mark Smith by 1.
Richard Peake had come in the game.
Bonifay and Peake across the timeline.
And they manhandled old Richard at the timeline with about 28 seconds to go, as I remember the first overtime. We were down 2. And they manhandled him, no foul. Took it down the floor, laid it up, and we're down 4. But instead of being down 4, here comes Charlie Anderson running on those old Ponscoggin kind of legs, and he jumps up and pins it up on the glass.
Team now has the ball stolen by Willis. Willis's layup is blocked by Charlie Anderson.
Unbelievable play. And turned right to my manager and said he rose up on the wings of eagles.
This place is, you can feel it. It's running all through the crowd. It's just like a big shock going through everybody.
We got the ball, went down, worked it around, and got the basket to tie the game.
65-65, 49 seconds. Not a man, woman, child has left this place.
They go down and shot quickly.
Leonard, the big man, underneath. They'll probably try to get it to him. Rouse to Whitaker. Here it is to Leonard. His shot is up. It's no good. Rebound, out of bounds, and it's Mark Smith ball with 2 seconds.
And we got the rebound with 2 seconds.
And they'll take a timeout with 2 seconds left in the first overtime. Mark Smith, 65. Carver, 65.
Well, we had worked on situations all year. And we had a 4-second play where we went the length of the floor. And we saved our timeouts to the end. Players came over and we looked, and I said, let's run the 4-second play, but we only got 2 seconds. Everybody knew the job. I'm going to take a timeout on the flight of the ball, and you run to that official and take a timeout. Let's get it to the timeline and see what will happen. And darn if we didn't do it.
Comes a long pass. It goes to Prince. Prince. What is this? They take a timeout as they get it across the half-court line. Good move by Mark Smith.
Well, we used our last timeout then and set up the play, and Charlie Anderson had about 25, 26 points to that moment. He was shooting the jumper and playing inside, having a whale of a game. So I said, let's double screen down and let him run in like he's going inside and flash to the top of the circle and let's hit him. I think he might be open. If they steal it, they can't score.
This is it. 1 second on the clock. Bonifay will toss it in the front court for Mark Smith. Let's see if he tries to throw it beneath the basket. He does to Charlie. Charlie's shot is off as the buzzer sounds. It's no good. We're in another overtime.
Second overtime. We're in foul trouble. We have been on the floor all night.
Well, this is it, friends. As we said, there is no tomorrow for this ball game. after this ball game.
So we go to the second overtime. 65-65, I believe. Sounds close.
Goes to Whitaker. Whitaker and the big man Leonard. Leonard turns around, shoots. It's up. It's good. Carver by 4 points. 69-65. 2 minutes and a half remaining in the second overtime.
Once we got in that second overtime, Charlie Anderson, David Lee, and all of them took over. And we got down again, though.
Charlie, turn around, jumpers up. No foul, and Carver controls. The Bulldogs with their backs to the wall now.
And it was 71-70 with about 15 seconds. And we ran our little pet play where we hit the forward, got it back, and dumped it inside because Fessor Leonard and their big guys were playing behind Charlie, and he was doing the Duke big man drill once he got it. Show it, drop step, power layup, and he did it. And they knocked him down, and the official under the basket called it a...
Charlie Anderson with the ball, shoots a 5-footer, no good. Let's see what it is. A charging foul on Anderson is called with 15 seconds left.
So now Carver's got the ball. There's probably 12, 13, 14 seconds. Game's pretty much over. We don't have a timeout left. And we got another break. They took a timeout.
Now it's timeout on the court with 15 seconds remaining in the second overtime. Carver 71, Mark Smith 70.
And when they took the timeout, we were able to gather our thoughts, and I challenged the kids, the players, that we were not a good pressing team, but we were going to play man-to-man, turn our little butts to the baseline and deny the ball. If they wanted to throw long, throw long. And I challenged Frank Prince. I said, you'll be on the ball out of bounds. I don't care who it is, but don't let him have an easy pass.
71-70, 15 seconds to go, and look for a quick foul by Mark Smith.
We went on the floor, and sure enough, they were so much quicker. They just blew by us like a covey of quail, and Frank wouldn't let them have the pass, and they threw it from underneath the basket to the corner, and here comes Cam Bonifay out of nowhere, diving on the floor like he would make a double play, and catches the ball on an intercepted pass and flips it right back to Frank, who's under the basket.
Carver will work its best to get it in quickly. They've got 3 seconds. Mark Smith will really work on it. Bonifay steals it. Layup shot is up and in by Prince.
He probably celebrated too quick, and here they got it out like a covey of quail and run down the floor. And
10 seconds. 72-71. Mark Smith by 1. Rouse to Whitaker. Whitaker shot. No, a foul.
David Lee got back, and maybe one other, and David takes the charge.
A foul on David Lee with 5 seconds left.
But they called it a foul.
It's a 1-and-1 situation. Whitaker's at line with a crucial 1-and-1.
And so they go to the line with a 1-and-1. I think Reuben Whitaker went to the line, who was an outstanding basketball player, and had made 8 out of 9 free throws, and he had a 1-and-1 with 4 seconds.
Shot is up. It's no good.
And we encouraged the kids to block out,
Rebound, Mark Smith.
and sure enough, he shot it short.
Prince dribbles down court. 2 seconds. 1. He shoots from 30 feet. It's over the Mark Smith Bulldogs of the state AAA basketball champions, 1969.